Tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Good morning, everyone. First of all, I'd like to inform today there can be some interruptions. I'm using the data actually. The router it shows no signal, so sometimes there can some visible interruptions while we are discussing.
No problem, Bhante. Thank you very much.
Continue with time. I think in the Bahya Sutta, we couldn't finish the prose part yet. So we couldn't finish the hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Bhante.
Hello. Okay, right. So here it says the bhikkhus replied as yes, and may it be, but like they appreciated what the Buddha said. And then Bāhyasa Daruchiriyasa Sarirakam Manchakam Aropetva, having ascended the body into a small bed, Niharitva, having taken it out, Jhapetva, having burnt it, Tupanchasa Katva, having done his stupa with his relics, Jena Bhagava Tenu Upasankaminsu, approached the Buddha. Upasankamitva, having approached, Bhagavantang Abhivadetva, having paid respect to the Buddha, Ekamantan Nisidinsu, they sat beside. Ekamantan Nisinna Kote Bhikkhu, Bhagavantang Eta the Vochung, the monks who sat beside, said thus to the Buddha. Dadam Bhante Bāhyasa Daruchiriyasa Sarira. The body of the Venerable Daruchiriya has been burnt. Tupo Chasakato, the pagoda, the shrine, his shrine has been done. Tassa ka gati, what is his destination? Ko abhisamparayo, what has happened after death? Like what is happened after this life? What has happened after the death? Pandito Bhikkave Bahyo Daruchiriyo, monks, the Bahya Daruchiriya, the wise Bahya Daruchiriya, Pachapadi Dhammasanu Dhammang, he practiced the Dhamma which leads to the noble Dhamma. So Dhamma here has few meanings. Sometimes it refers to supramundane states, Magga, Phala and Nibbana. Anudhamma is the sixth law of Visuddhi that would take us to this ultimate liberation. Then also Dhamma refers to Nibbana, Anudhamma refers to Lokuttara, Magga and Phala, which takes us to Nibbana. Nachaman Dhammadikaranang Vihesesi. He did not made me tired due to the Dhamma. Parnibhuto Bhikkave Bahyo Daruchiriyo. Monks, Bahya Daruchiriya has attained the complete liberation. He has attained the Parnibbana. It means there is no rebirth in him after death. So this was the meaning of this paragraph. So I think we discussed up to here. Daddam Bhikkave Bāhyasa Daruchiriyasa Sarirang Tupo Chasakato. His pagoda has been done. So here in the last lecture we discussed about the past participle. That the participle words have a certain syntax within them. We called it sadhana. So before going into it, we'll try to finish the sutta, and according to time, we'll explain the grammar. Tassa ka gati, what is his destination? So gati, there are 5 types of gati. There are 5 types of gati. They are, first is the niraya, the lower one, the hell. Then is the tirachana, peta, and manusa and deva. So if we talk about the gatis, panchagati we call. Panchagati, 5 types of destination. First is niraya. Then we have tirachana. Sometimes we list tirachana after niraya, peta, but because the thing is, some petas have, normally petas are suffering there under tirachana, but there are some petas who are having like divine like experiences. In tirachana also, according to the literature, some nagas and garudas have such pleasures. Maybe because of that, the peta are listed above means after the tirachana. Then we have manusa and deva. Deva includes deva and brahma both. Deva plus brahma. So these are the 5 types of destinations, panchagati. For your further information, panchagati, now gati has to be, can be explained in further, like can be explained as the gati. Sometimes, mostly it refers to the life we attain with the after a certain, like due to a karma, the life we attain in a certain after dying. So we are, if karma remains, we are born in a certain destination. So we have when we are born, certain kammaja rupas and vipaka chitta cetasikas arise in us. So these realities that are mostly the karma born realities are considered as the gati. That is what we normally consider as the gati. So what the question was, what was his gati? Gati means after death, where was he born? In which life was he born? So this was the question that the monks asked. So whether he became a deva or brahma or a human, or was he born in the peta world or something like that. So that's what they were asking. What was his destination? So we also have sometimes the gati has 2 meanings. The word gati can have 2 meanings. One is the life attained as a life attained in a certain realm. It's like if you talk about the animals, if you talk about the devas, for instance, the deva of Tavatinsa deva, they get the vipaka chitta cetasikas and kammaja rupas accordingly. At the same time, the realm they are born in, that is also a specific place. So that is also we can call as a gati. That is also a gati. So gati can sometimes refers to the place where one is born, and sometimes it refers to the life one attains. That is mainly vipaka chitta cetasikas and kammaja rupas. So therefore, we normally call the sanjati gati and gati. Sanjati gati and gati. So sanjati gati means the place where they are born. Gati is the like vipaka chitta cetasikas they attain. So when we talk about gati, we can include sanjati gati and gati. So So they were asking the question, what was his destination? To which world he... Sanjati Gati means the space where a life is attained. Now the Tavatinsa realm is located in a certain height according to the literature. That is their Sanjati Gati. The Sanjati Gati has a few explanations. Based on the Rupa Khanda, I bring this term. And then Gati means the Vipaka Chetasikas and Kamaja Rupas one attains in a certain life. So this is the explanation of Gati. So they were asking the question, what was the destination? So it can be the life he attained after the death, or the realm he was born after he was killed by a cow. Then we go to the sutta. Ko abhisamparayo. Abhisamparayo means the state after the death. State after the death. So there are two types of abhisamparayo according to the commentaries. So says Pecha Bhavupati. Bhavanirodhava. So this shows that if either you are born as a certain life after we die. Pecha Bhavupati means the life after someone has died. Pecha Bhavupati, happening of a life after death, like a rebirth. It means the rebirth. Bhavanirodha means the cessation of the life. Cessation of the life. So what happened to him after death? So was he born as a certain being, or he attained the full liberation? So these were the two questions. What was his destination, and what happened to him after the death? Did he have a rebirth, or did he attain the full cessation? So the Buddha's answer was, Bhikkave, the monks, Pandito Bahyo Daruchiryo. The wise Bahya Daruchirya, Pachapadi. Pachapadi here means Patipaji. It's called Patipaji. So this Patipaji is the present tense of Pachapadi is Patipajati. Comes from Patipajati. What has happened here is the past tense word Pati become Pati, right? But so we will just write Pati plus, because it comes from Prati in Sanskrit. Prati, because of the assimilation, Pati, PR become PP. Because of the Ra is retroflex consonant. It's we call it how do you call it? Retroflex, right? It's called lingual, right? Lingual consonant. So because of this Ra, this Ta changes into lingual Ta. PP, TI, right? So this is the philological explanation on this. So then Pati, Pad plus Pad is the root. Then normally Pad has the conjugation sign Ya, but here Ya is not inserted. So I'll just, here Ya, we don't take the Ya. In some cases, especially in past tense, sometimes the verbal conjugation sign is not used. Sometimes the conjugation sign is not. For example, if you take about some nouns about Ganhati and so forth, sometimes the conjugation sign is not used in past tense. So then we have E. So what has happened? Now here we know in past tense, sometimes we have augmentation. Before the root, we have an insertion of R. So this R has come before the root. Because of this R, this E has changed into Ya. So it become Ya, and TY become CC. So, and this, what happened? This R has strengthened from Pad. Like for example, Pakkami, we know in Pakkami, the normal formation should be Pakkami, but Pakkami, Ka has become long. So here become in the Pakkami, Ka become K long A. So here Pa become P long A. So then we have Pacha Padi. Actually, this is equal to Patipajjati. Patipajjati, because Patipajjati comes Pati plus Prad plus Ya plus Ti. So here D and Ya become JJ. So we become Pati Pajjati. So this Pachapadi is the past tense of Patipajjati. So normally we commentary says it's Patipajji. So Patipajji comes from Patipajjati. Patipajjati, and this is the normal formation of Patipajjati. But in the past tense, sometimes the conjugation sign is not used. So this is how the Pati become Prati. This is how I put it here. This is how normally the Prati become Pati. So in the past tense, what happens? Yeah, in the past tense, Pati, A is inserted because before the Pad. Pati is the prefix. Because of the A, E is changed into Ya. E changes into Ya, and Ty changes into CC. And then the short A become long, and the conjugation sign is dropped. It's not added. So then we add the final E. So become Pachapadi. It means he practiced. Roughly saying, it refers that he practiced. What did he practice? He practiced the Anudhamma. So here Dhammassa Anudhammam should be divided as Dhammassa Anudhamma. This is Sandhi. Anudhamma is the accusative case. It's the object of the practice. What he practiced was the Anudhamma. Anudhamma means we normally call it Anugata Dhamma, Anugami Dhamma. So to what it is Anugami? Dhammasa. Anugami means it goes, follows it. For instance, if a certain Dhamma practice follows means is accordingly, it matches with the result. So if you practice certain thing, if you can attain a certain result, so that practice is called, can be called Anugami to the result. Only it will follow the result. Result will follow it. Like we can tell it follows the result. It will surely lead you to the result. So here, so therefore the commentary says Dhamma is the supramundane attainments, the Maggapala and the state Nibbana. Then Anudhamma is the 6 lower Visuddhis that would surely lead you. Then another explanation is Dhamma is Nibbana. So the practice which leads to Nibbana is the Lokuttara Magga and Phala. Though they are momentary, that is the culmination of the practice. So Lokuttara Magga and Phala are the Anudhamma for the Dhamma Nibbana. Then Buddha explained, Nachamang Dhammadi Karanan Vihesesi. So the subject should be taken, still the subject should be taken. Bahyo Daru Chiriyo Nachamang Dhammadi Karanang Vihesesi. Vihesesi means makes me tired, like tormenting or bringing, oppressing or make someone tired, Vihesesi, or make someone bring trouble. So Na Vihesesi, he didn't make me tired. Mang is I, me, the accusative case of I. He didn't trouble me. And Cha is also. Then Dhammadikaranam here refers to Dhammadesana Hetu, right? Dhammadesana Hetu. Actually, Adhikarana also refers to the word meaning of Hetu. Adhikarana has a meaning of Hetu. Adhikarana have few meanings. It can refers to the court, where the laws being trials are being like the issues, courts where the law issues are being trial. And then it can refers to the place something remains, Adhikarana. And it also can refer to the reason itself. So here Dhammadhikarana means reason, the reason of Dhamma, because of, due to Dhamma. Then accusative case is the accusative of cause. So Adhikarana itself have the meaning of cause, and then we use the accusative case to indicate that the causal meaning, because the case, there should be a case ending. Every word should have a case ending. So this is accusative of case. Dhammadhikarana means Dhamma Desana Hetu, because of the preaching of Dhamma, because the commentary explains it was not the tiring the Buddha gets. Sometimes we can feel like if Buddha has to give a long Dhamma discourse, he would feel tired. That's for sure, because sometimes he has mentioned that his back pain, so he gives the opportunity to a great disciple to preach Dhamma, and he goes to rest. But here the commentary, what commentary says is, if someone learns Dhamma from the Buddha or take a Kammatthana, meditation subject from the Buddha, and if he doesn't practice as the instruction, this is considered as bringing him trouble, making him tired. So that's why the Buddha first thought after the enlightenment, when he thought about the deepness of Dhamma, whether he should teach or not, he felt that it will only bring tiredness to me. What did he mean by that was, because he saw the beings are indulged in sensual pleasures. So even I preach this subtle Dhamma, they'll not be able to understand it. So if someone doesn't get the benefit out of my teachings, this is just a waste of time, or it just only makes me tired without any result. So if there is no result for the effort, then that effort is considered as making someone tired. If that result has a real effort, according to this explanation, that the tiredness you get through that, putting that effort, is not considered as a vihesana. It's not considered as a bringing difficulty to your life, because you get the results for your effort. If there is no results, then it is considered vihesati. It means trouble, like getting tired. So here the commentary says, since he practiced according to the Buddha's teachings, from the moment he heard the Dhamma, and he became enlightened very quickly, so he didn't trouble me because of Dhamma. Parinibbuto bhikkhave bahyo daruchiriyo. The Bahya Daruchirya has attained the full liberation. So atako bhagava etamattam viditva thayang velayang umang udanesi. So at that time, having known these meanings, so the commentary says he knew the parinibbana of Bahya Daruchirya. Then in the same way, that parinibbana of of an arahant is not easy to be known by other ordinary beings. So he knew two meanings: the parinibbana of the Bahya Daruchirya, and also difficulty for other beings to know such a state, know such a full liberation of an arahant. He knew both these meanings. And then he explained the Udāna, imang Udānang Udāna, which Udāna, which says about parinibbana, full liberation, without sticking into any conditioned reality. Appatitita parinibbanu bhavadipana Udānesi. So this Udāna, if you analyze this Udāna, when we analyze, you find he is freed from all the conditioned states. An arahant who attained the parinibbana is freed from all the conditioned states. So that's for since he is freed from all conditioned states, he is not established on any of the conditioned states. So that he wanted to explain that the nature of parinibbana, the greatness of parinibbana, that you are not established on any of the conditioned states. So he knew two meanings: the parinibbana of Bahya Daruchirya, and also he knew that the difficulty for the ordinary beings to know the Parinibbana of such a Arahant, and also through the Udāna, having known those two meanings, we explained about the greatness of Parinibbana, nature of Parinibbana, that shows that Arahant is not established on any of the Sankata Dhammas, so he's freed from death. So the reason is why he meant it was difficult to know the Parinibbana of ordinary beings, because according to the instructions given by the Buddha, if you look into the instruction, he says, if you can see the screen, Ganhata bhikkave bāhyas daruchiriyas harirakang manchakang aropetva niharitva japetva tupanchassa karota. Buddha is asking to do a tupa for him, stupa, because there are only four beings who deserves a stupa, a pagoda. First is Samma Sambuddha, Pacceka Buddha, Arahant, and a Chakravarti. So Bahya is surely not a Samma Sambuddha, and Pacceka Buddhas don't appear during the reign of a Samma Sambuddha. Then he's not a Chakravarti, it's clear. So if Buddha asks monks to build a stupa for someone, surely he should be a Arahant. He should be an Arahant. Even for Anagamis, he has not advised for building stupas. You can build one, there is no harm in it, but the two Paraha Punkalas according to Buddha is Samma Sambuddha, Pacceka Buddha, Arahant, and Chakravarti. So with this instruction, even for a person who knows Dhamma, it's clear that this person has attained Arahantship. But for some monks, the commentary says it was not easy to be known. So therefore, they asked the question, what was his destination and what happened to him after life? So with that, Buddha knew it was not easy for ordinary people to know the Parinibbana of a monk, because if someone has not attained the Nibbana, it is very difficult for him to understand what kind of a state it is. So that is why he, knowing these two meanings, he uttered the Gatha. So before we go to the Gatha, if you have any questions regarding this explanation, you can ask questions.
So Bhante?
Yes, Sally.
Sometimes I also saw the other six dimension, 6 gatis.
6 gati.
Yeah, I think the Swastinwadi or other tradition, they mention 6 gati. They including Asura.
Asura, okay. Right, so...
Because in these 5 gatis, we don't know where we put the Asura, right?
Asura we put in Peta.
Beta.
According to the yeah, Asura put in Peta.
But because Beta and Asura they are different.
It's like this. We have 5 types of Asura, because since the question was raised, wait till I go to the lecture notes. So I hope you can see the lecture notes now. So what about the Asura, right? So the word Asura. So this Asura, normally there are 5 types of Asuras. First is we call Lokantarika Asura. Then we have Kalakanjika Asura. Then we have Vinipatika Asura, Vemanika Asura, and Deva Asura. These are the 5 Asuras we find. So these 5 Asuras, out of these 5, Lokantrika Asuras are the beings who are born in the Lokantrika hell. Lokantrika hell, according to literature, the hell which remains in between the world cycles. Normally between the 3 world cycles. So this is a Lokantarika Asura. They belong to the hell. In the 31 realms, they belong to the hell. Kalakanjika Asura belong to the Asura realm. Asura, Apaya. Asura, out of 4 Apaya, Asura Apaya. Right? This is Niraya, hell, out of 31 planes. Vinipatika Asura are the beings who remain, a certain kind of a beings who remain between the Chatu Maharajika realm and the human realm. They are included in the Chatu Maharajika Nikaya when we classify them into 31 realms. So these asuras, normally they are less luxurious, they have less merits, normally they find their own food, they don't get the divine kind of pleasures like devas have. So they have to search for their food, and normally their lives are quite poor. So we put them in Chatu Maharajika realm, group of Chatu Maharajika. Vemanika Asura also Chatu Maharajika. Maharajika. The Vemanika Asura means they have two types of life, like two states in their lives. In a one session of the life, like maybe once a month, every month, or every fortnight, they experience the divine-like pleasures, and in another fortnight, they experience the suffering. So some would experience certain suffering. In some cases, some have to go and work in dreadful places. Like if you talk, I think you have heard about the Devaduta Sutta. There was a Nirayapala, like one who guardian of the hell. This guardian of the hell has to work in the hell for 15 days, and then another 15 days he will enjoy divine-like pleasures in his mansions. So they have Vemanika, means they have Dve. Dve means Dve comes from Dve. They have two types of pleasures, states in their life. So Devasura belongs to the Tavatinsa. These are the ones who fought with the Sakka. So out of them, the Kalakanjika Asuras is what we call the Asura Nikaya. This is what you're asking for. So these Kalakanjika Asuras are sometimes called as Kalakanjika Peta. They are also called Kalakanjika Peta. So they are very similar to kind of Petas. But even though in some suttas we clearly find 4 types of apaya, so these Kalakanjika, some teachers explain Asuras, being the Asura Nikaya are the Kalakanjika Petas. So another name for this Kalakanjika Asura is the Kalakanjika Peta. So therefore, when we classify the 5 types of Gati, we put them into the Peta. Peta includes Asura Nikaya and Peta world. But it is only the Kalakanjika Asuras. Asuras are 5-fold. Some Asuras belong to the hell, Niraya, because these are the Lokantrika. Some Asuras belong to the Devas. Even though Vinipatika are less in pleasures than humans, Vemanika in certain times they have higher pleasures than humans, but in certain times they are lower in terms of luxuries to the humans. Devasuras have a luxurious life. But normally, in some places I have seen, Devasuras are considered as they don't attain the Nibbana. And in a one sutta, which explains about when the Devas were praising about the newcomers to the Deva world due to the Buddha's dispensation, in that sutta, according to that explanation, all the beings in the 4 apaya, are called Asura. So they were rejoicing. The Asura realm decreases. The number of the Asuras decreases. The number of Devas increases. They were not talking about the Deva Asuras. They were talking about the hell, the 4 apayas. The number of beings who are born in the 4 apayas are decreasing, and the number of the beings who are born in the blissful abodes are increasing while the Buddhas, because of the Buddha's dispensation. So these are the 6 meanings we have for Asuras, 5 types of beings. In one sutta, the word Asura refers to all the beings in the 4 apaya. So as your question was, like Kalakanjika Asuras can also be called Kalakanjika Petas. So we put them into the Peta Gati, according to Theravada.
Hi, Bhante.
Okay, Bhante. Another question is here in the Adikarana. In the first, you said the Adikarana refers to reason.
Yeah.
But you also explain Adikarana has the meaning of hetu, has the meaning of place, and also have the meaning of reason.
No, yeah, or it has the meaning of reason, has the meaning of place, has the meaning of court. Court also, like where you have
Cause is heduna, right?
no, not cause. Court, C-O-U-R-T, where you have the lawsuits.
Oh, okay.
Like disputes, law problems.
Okay.
C-O-U-R-T.
So here is refers hedu.
Hetu, reason. Hetu, reason.
Because hedu and the reason is need to be different.
Yeah, how do you translate? Karana, hetu. Same. Karana and hetu are same, right?
No. There's a difference between them.
Can you explain?
I forgot, but we learned that in the Seattle Utilas class. That time we discussed about the hedu and the karana. They are different.
Okay, if you could please send me that explanation, I'll go research more. So normally Karana and Hetu are same to my understanding, but I have studied. So if you have, because sometimes they have subtle differences in Myanmar. The different means they have subtle explanations. So I would like to know, please.
Okay.
Later, can you send it? Yeah, then I'll go through a research. I'll talk with my friend also and explain.
And here, Dhamasa nu Dhammam. Normally we say Dhamma nu Dhammam, right? But here, there is case ending here. This only Sunday happens.
Yeah. Yes. Here it's a Sunday, not Dhamma nu Dhammam. If you say Dhamma nu Dhammam without a Sunday, it's a Samasa. Yeah, it's a full case ending word. Dhammasa anu Dhamma. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, Bhante.
Hello, Doctor.
Yeah, may I have a follow-up question on the five
Yes.
kinds of asura?
Okay.
So, what is the patisandhikita for each of these kinds, Bhante?
Okay. So this Lokantarika Asura is and Kalakandika Asura is Upekka Santirana. For the first two, they are born to the Apaya. Vinipatika Asura can have Vinipatika and Vemanika Asuras. Vinipatika Asuras can have 9 types of Patisandhi, Sugati Patisandhi, 8 Mahavipaka and Kusala Vipaka Upekka Santirana. The first two are Akusala Vipaka Upekka Santirana. They have Kusala Vipaka Upekka Santirana. So 9. So then Vemanika Asura also possible to have all the 9, 8 Mahavipaka and Upekka Sahagata Santirana, Kusala Vipaka. Deva Asura can have only 8 Mahavipaka because they belong to the Tavatinsa realm. Above the Chatu Maharajika, we don't have Ahetuka Upatti. So they have all 8 Mahavipaka as their Patisandhi.
Thank you, Bhante. And then also you said that for the Deva Asura, they can't attain Nibbana. Is there a reason for that, Bhante?
There are 2 types of beings. They explain Achandika and Ahetuka, Achandika and Duhetuka. Achandika means some beings are not interested in attaining. So the example they give is the Uttarakuru beings. Even though they have Tihetuka Patisandhi, they don't have a desire to attain the Nibbana. So they are called Achandika. Achandika. Chanda, without Chanda. Chanda is here. Chandika. Achandika, they don't have a desire. Then we have Dvihetuka. Dvihetuka being. So I am unable to give you the reference. My Mahatera, who was a Tipitaka in Sri Lanka, he once explained to us, Asuras are normally Dvihetukas. Deva Asuras are Dvihetuka beings. So that's why that's why they don't understand what is correct and what is wrong very clearly. And they went against the Sakka, who was such a righteous king. So he mentioned Uttarakuru beings are Achandika. This one I have seen in the literature. Uttarakuru beings don't have a desire to attain. Asuras, he mentioned, my Mahatera once mentioned, they are Dvihetuka beings. So it's, then it should be 4 Jnana Vipayutta Vipaka, it should be, not 8. If that is correct. For the Devasuras Patisandhi.
I see. Okay, thank you, Bhante.
Okay. I'll try to search this information, and if I find, I'll let you know where it is. But this was said to us by Mahadera during a Dhamma discussion. Normally, he doesn't tell things that are, only he speaks about the things that he found in the Tipitaka or the literature. So I'm very much confident it should be found in the Tipitaka or the commentaries, but I don't remember a proper reference to this.
Okay, thank you.
Bhante,
So,
when you say the Asura, the Deva Asura, they do not respect the Saka, right?
yeah,
Even
they
Saka
against
is-
Saka. In the
sorry.
beginning, they respected. In the beginning, they respected. According to the literature, when the Saka was born, they arranged a party. So they arranged with the alcohol. Like alcohol means like things that makes you drowsy and all. So that's why the Saka was against it, and he chased them away. In the beginning, they respected him, but after the Saka chased them away, so they started to rebel against him.
Okay, because that in the beginning the Saka was a Budujana, right?
Yes. But he's a righteous king, right? Normally, mostly he's a righteous one. Some cases, Sakkas have done very bad things. In some stories we find in Jataka, Sakka Deva has done some bad deeds. But normally, Sakka, yeah, that was my idea, like Sakka, going against Sakka, because normally the Sakka should be a righteous king in most of the cases. Yeah, as he's a Putujana, he can do evil deeds also.
Okay, thank you, Bhante.
But the Chakravarti is normally a righteous king always. The literature says a Chakravarti is sure to be born in the Tavatimsa realm after death. After dying from the human realm, he'll surely be born in the Tavatimsa realm. So Chakravarti is normally destined to be born in a good abode after death. But Sakka is not certain for that.
Oh, okay. Bhante, since you mentioned the Jakawati, I have one question about the Jakawati. So where is the abode of the Jakawati?
Abode means he is
Is
a
it
human realm.
Human realm.
Chakravarti is human, right? He's a universal monarch, we call.
I don't know. Because sometimes when I read the Sutta, they say Jakawati is something like a very powerful. So I don't know.
Yeah, a very powerful human being. He becomes the ruler for the entire 4 islands, like the entire world, human world, he rules. And righteously. He doesn't kill others, and he also admonishes others to follow the proper path. So he's a very special type of a human being, the greatest king according to the literature. And after dying, because his righteousness, he also have the 32 marks of a great human being, and then he will be born as a deva in the Tavatimsa realm after dying.
So if he was born in the Dawadinsa, if compared with Saka,
No. Yeah.
No, because in
Compared-
Dawadinsa, the Saka is the king of all the devas. So
he born in the Tavatimsa as a normal deva after dying. Chakravarti is a human king. After death, he will be born as another special deva in the Tavatimsa realm, not the ruler of the Tavatimsa.
I see.
He's another special deva, but his destination is Tavatimsa. Normally, the literature says he's born in Tavatimsa after death. It's that after becoming a Chakravarti, you don't go directly to the hell.
But is it possible when there is Buddha and the Buddha's teaching, there will be Jakavati or not?
It's like this. Some literature books says this is I found in some later literature books. I'm not sure whether this can be found in the commentaries. So I'm not guaranteeing, but some later Buddhist literature book says Chakravarti, when a Buddha is born, Chakravarti can still remain as a king. When the Buddha get enlightened, still he remains as a king. But when the Buddha preaches the Dhamma Chakra, when he, because Buddha is considered as the one who turns the wheel of Dhamma. Chakravarti also has a wheel. Buddha has the wheel of Dhamma. So after he starts to preach the Dhamma, then it will be his reign. Reign means his dominance will be there in the world. So the book says when a Buddha has preached the Dhamma, the wheel of a Chakravarti remains in the sky in a very, it can be observed by all the humans. When they come to the palace, a wheel is remaining in the sky. It floats in it levitates in the sky. And it's a very huge wheel with 1,000 sparks. So this wheel will come down from its location. Observably, it comes down. Like we can see a very huge difference in its location. So that happens due to two reasons. One is another Chakravarti means another, his dominance has disappeared. Now another great being has appeared. So only a person who is greater than a Chakravarti is a Buddha, according to the literature. So that is also not after his enlightenment, after he starts to preach the Dhamma and spread his kingdom of Sasana in the world. That is after the Dhammacakka. So after the Dhammacakka is preached, the wheel comes down. The next reason is before the death of a Chakravarti, the wheel comes down. Before the death of a Chakravarti, normally the wheel comes down. So it says after a Buddha has after the Buddha has preached the Dhamma, in a very short time, after a short period, Chakravarti has two destinations. Either he will die, means his lifespan is finished, or he will ordain in the sasana. He will ordain in the sasana. It is not a must that a Chakravarti ordains as a monk to be a noble, because according to the literature, our Bodhisattva was a Chakravarti in some Buddha's dispensation. I think 1 or 2. So in those days, he ordained as a monk, but he didn't attain anything, any noble state. And in the future Buddha, according to the Chakravarti Sihanada Sutta, the Chakravarti Sankha will ordain in the Metteya Buddha Sasana and he will become an Arahant. So it's like when a Buddha is born, Buddha has preached the Dhamma. If the Chakravarti's lifespan is finished, he will die, or otherwise he will ordain in the Buddha's dispensation. It is not possible, they say, the Chakravarti rules the world while the Buddha is preaching the Dhamma. Like while the Buddha is propagating the Dhamma, there cannot be a Chakravarti at that time.
I see. Okay, thank you, Bhante.
Okay. So any questions before if we go to the sutta?
Excuse me, Bhante.
Yes, Sister Uttama, yes.
May I have 2 questions?
Okay.
The first one is about the 5 works, or 5 phrases or works, which is the Jivara Pindapata Senasana Gilana Pachaya Pasaya Parikharanam. That is the first word. The second word is about the Amha. Amha is
Amha, you mean?
yeah, Amha.
Okay.
And the third word is about, because we have different translation, the way I translate and the way you mentioned about the word Sugato is different. So I was wondering. And the last word is about Tupa.
So
my
right now, I think first one is Chivara Pindapata Senasana. Okay.
Yeah, the whole phrase.
And the second one is?
The second one is about the 2 words Amha used by the Chivara, used by the Pahiya, and then the same word Amha used by the Buddha.
Amha, right?
Yes.
Is it correct what I wrote in the?
Amha. Yeah, that's like Amha. Yes, Amha with long A.
Aha, okay, right. Amha, right. Then?
And another one is the Sugato. Sugato, because I translated as the fortunate one, and then Bhante translated as the well-born. Yes. So different meanings. And the last word is about the Tupa.
Tupa, okay.
Yes, Tupa you briefly mentioned already. So yeah, so for Jivara Pindapata Senasana and Gilana Pachaya. So we already know that this Pahiya Daruchiriya,
Yeah.
he only wear the back robe, right? So if he get how to say labi, he get offered by the devotee or something like that. Must they make the back robe for him also? And how can they make it? What kind of chivara that did he receive? And also the Gilana Pachaya Beshaja Parikaranam. Can you please elaborate on that phrase? Because Gilana Pachaya, you mentioned it, that is the medicine, but Gilana is the disease. So something supporting the disease, that means something making that disease worsen, not better. So how can it be a medicine?
Okay. Pachya is a supporting thing here. Support for the Gilana.
Supporting for the disease to make us...
Not here Gilana means the one who is sick.
Okay.
Support for the Gilana is like, Gilana is not the sickness. Gilana is the one who is sick. So the support for the sick. Sick means not the sickness. So when you support for the sick means you reduce the sickness, right?
So that means they're supporting for the patient.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Gilana Pachya.
Yeah. Shaja Parikara.
Parikara refers to all the Chivara, Senasana, Gilana Pachya can refer to Parikara. For this, I have to go for the definition. Chivara Pindapata. So give me one moment. Okay, we'll go to Udāna itself. So he got to Gilana. Doesn't say anything. Shall I explain this on the question and answer session? Because I have to go for the definition to find this.
Yes, all of this also can. Thank you.
No. You can just put this question into the Q&A. Others I can explain now. For the Besaja Parikara, I have to go for the definition. That's right.
I see. Thank you.
Right. So just put this in the question and answer. Amha is like a third person plural verb. Amha and Amha both are found.
So actually my question is, at the end of the sutta, we know that actually Bahiya, Daruchiliya just come to Chittavana by himself because when he died, nobody cared for his body. So so why did he use the word we here? At first I thought he means he and the Deva, or he and some of his retinues or something, but actually he's alone.
Right. Another way usage in the Indian culture is sometimes when we refer to I, we refer as we. It's a cultural usage. So even in Sri Lanka, among the monks, we, instead of saying I, our Mahatera always used to say we. So this has come from the Indian culture, subculture in Sri Lanka. In India also, in suttas, various suttas, we find instead of saying I, they have used we. It's just the meaning is still the one person. It doesn't mean there are many. It's a one kind of a usage.
Yes, it's just a cultural usage. Does it have anything to do with the process of reducing
maybe it is according to, I'm not sure about the meaning of the ancient culture. So what Mahatera indicated was, he said he rarely says I. He says we in our language. So what he indicated was, it was, according to them, it was considered as something polite. Instead of saying I, like putting yourself in front, he just used a plural verb. So it reduces the self presentation, like presenting your own self, and also according to them, it reduces, it is a support. Actually, the support comes from the mind. There's a certain support for the reduction of the self consideration. So instead of, he always considered, and his generation, I think, they consider it as something quite polite and also reducing your ego.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, it's a cultural thing. Then the Sugata, you said your translation was?
I look at another book. Its translation was The Fortunate One.
The fortunate one, yeah, the fortunate one, because he had a lot of fortunes in his life. Sugata has many meanings. If I explain you a few meanings, one is that he's a very Sundara Gati, means he has a wonderful life. You can call it fortunate, wonderful life from the moment he got the conceived in with the Maya Devi got conceived with the Bodhisattva, from the moment of Patisandhi till the moment of Parinibbana. His life was accompanied by many miraculous things, miracles. So he's considered as a person who has a wonderful life, Sundara Gati, just so, who has a wonderful life. And so it can be called as fortunate. And also Sugata means one who went to a wonderful destination, that was Nibbana. So he went to a wonderful destination, one who has gone to a good destination, who has attained the Nibbana, is called Sugata. Another explanation, who went to the Nibbana in a nice manner. So we call it well gone. So well gone means he went to, when he approached the Nibbana with the 4 maggas, the kilesas which were cut didn't arose again by the 4 maggas. The kilesas which were cut by the supramundane paths didn't arose. So he went in a proper way. He went to a wonderful destination, and he went well by cutting the defilements. Completely cutting the defilement. Another well-gone explanation is, from the moment he got the prophecy from the Dipankara Buddha till the Bodhi tree, he went alone. Alone means he had the instructions of certain Buddhas in certain lives, of certain teachers, but he went alone. His journey was mostly alone as a bodhisattva. So like a lion, he extremes, like I'm going to God. Is the one who goes well, beautiful physical walk. When he walks according to the teachings, not only the devas, humans, devas, animals. Look at he wants to walk. So according to Sutta, doesn't, is like he's. Hello.
Hello, Bhante. I think
yeah,
the connection is not good.
Yeah, sorry.
Actually, since you mentioned he got the proficiency from the Dipankara Buddha,
okay.
So after that I couldn't hear clearly.
Okay, from the moment he got the prophecy from the Dipankara Buddha, he went till the Bodhi tree, like the last, till his attainment. He went alone, mostly alone as a bodhisattva, found his way by himself. But still, he didn't fall into Niyata Michaditi. He sometimes practiced Atta Kilamatanu, but that is for temporary. He always walked on the middle path. So mostly he walked on the middle path and attained the Buddhahood. That was also called well gone. And also he has a wonderful physical walking. W-A-L-K-I-N-G, walking, physically walking. So according to the Brahmayu Sutta, he says when the Buddha is walking, it maybe seems strange to us. So his body is straight, And even his now when we walk, our knees hit the robe, right? Our knees hit the robe, and we can see the robe is the shape of the robe changes while we walk. But it says when the Buddha walks, it doesn't change. It's like his knee doesn't touch the robes. So likewise he's and also he keeps all his feet touches the earth and so forth. He has a beautiful walking, so that is also considered as Sugata. And also he has the 32 parts of a great man in his body. Gata, not Gati here. Gata is body. Sugata means the one who has a beautiful body, is also attractive body is called Sugata. Another explanation, Gati refers to the going, right? Gati comes from gum. So Gati has the meaning of going. So the Saddhaniti explains the roots with motion always have two meanings. That is physical moving and mental moving. Physical moving is that you move from the physical body. Mental moving is mostly refers to Jnana Gati. We can also have Chitta Gati, the mind goes from one object to another. Also we can have Jnana Gati, the wisdom goes into various objects, analyzing. So Sugata means one who has a wisdom which has known everything is called Sugata. So therefore there are many meanings that the word Sugata can have according to our literature. So that's why I was preferring the well gone, because I think A.K. Walder gives it as well gone. Even you translate as the fortunate one, the well gone, one who has gone to a good destination, with one who has a beautiful body, all are correct to the Sugata word.
Yes, thank you.
Hello.
Yeah, yes, thank you, Bhante.
Then
but
Tupa.
What does so what meaning of Sugato that Pahiya Daruchiriya means here? Because he has never met the Buddha before, and where's this word Sugato come from in his mind?
Right, that depends on, I cannot exactly say what he was referring to. So his name was famous in the society as Sugata. I don't know what was the name for that, what was the reason for that. Some of these definitions are surely added later, that's for sure. Some of the definitions have, because the commentaries, sub-commentaries, they add the definitions. So it is now, for example, it is also not a fault, because if you look into the, I think I have explained this already, the final answer is we don't know exactly what was the Bahia referring to, what meaning, whether he was just referring to the name he heard from the society, or whether he was referring to a real word, with a real meaning. Because when we uses the names, we always don't refer to the real meaning of the name, we just use conventionally also. Maybe he was using conventionally just the name for the Buddha, or maybe he was referring with the proper meaning if he has heard the meaning earlier. So the Majjhya Sutta is a good example. I think I have mentioned this already. In the Parayana Vagga, Buddha preached a sutta, and later on the 6 Theras tried to explain this sutta according to their idea. So they gave completely 6 different explanations. So then when this was informed to the Buddha, Buddha mentioned all 6 explanations are correct. They are correct. But at that moment, I was referring to one of these 6 meanings. He said I was referring to this meaning, but all the other 5 meanings are correct. So you can explain the sutta in 6 ways. There is no problem. That one stanza, you can explain in 6 ways. But my main intention was that. So what does it shows? That even though we are unable to get the exact meaning what the Buddha was referring in such an occasion, or if the meaning that is given in the tradition doesn't contradict with the main fundamentals, that can be accepted. Because that's why the Buddha didn't reject the other 5 answers. If you look into the sutta, you find answers are completely different from each other. They are not the same answer. So he says all are acceptable. So therefore, what the Bahya refers here is we are unable to say exactly. The commentary doesn't say what he means. The commentary gives a long explanation of Sugata, many meanings. So we can take whatever meaning we like.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, the Tupa one, I'm not clear. What was your question?
The Tupa is actually, as you mentioned, the Tupa is only for four types of person can deserve a Tupa. So does the monks know that already? Because the Buddha, as you said, the Buddha asked to build him a tupa. So that means he's definitely an arahant already.
Right.
So if the monks already know, because we know the monks at that time would also know, why should they ask him again? What is his gati? And I'm just asking. And also, so at that time, during the Buddha's time, is it okay, according to Vinaya, that monk does the construction by themselves? And how can they build a stupa within a short time? I'm just curious.
Okay. So the commentary says the Kagati. So I'll just say the commentary translation. Kinchapi tassa tupa karananatya parnibhuta bhavo attato pakasito hoti. So it says even though his full liberation, parnibbana, is mentioned by his order to build a stupa, his parnibbana is clear. Yepana bhikkhu tattakena janis. There were some monks even couldn't understand with that order. Like ones who know the Dhamma would surely know when the Buddha asked to build a tupa for a monk, he should be an arahant. But some monks are not that much learned or that much aware of that, about that teaching. So for them, Buddha, they are the ones who ask the question. And also another explanation, sometimes even arahants, there are some suttas in Majjhima Nikaya, the sutta which was given in the very beautiful night. I forgot that sutta, sorry. Arahant used to ask the question about the 5 aggregates. The arahant has no doubt, no problem about the 5 aggregates, but he asked a question. So what was his purpose? Was his disciples had some doubts about the teachings. So instead of asking disciples to ask the question, the arahant himself asked, how do we understand it? Like it was just to make the Buddha to preach some Dhamma so the others could understand it. So there were 2 reasons. So maybe the ones who didn't, because we don't have the historical fact exactly, because it happened long time before. So maybe the monks who didn't know, get the hint, get the meaning by the Buddha's order, they asked the question. Or even the ones who knew, they also wanted to make it more clear and get the word from the Buddha's mouth, like otherwise the Bahya's attainment was not clearly mentioned by the Buddha. It has to be understood with the instruction given to build a tupa. So then, but when the Buddha said he has exactly attained arahantship, then it will be recorded and it will be very clear, like everyone would know that Bahya has attained. So to make it happen like that, they asked the question. So there are 2 ways. Then another thing which comes into my mind, when the Tuparaha teaching, we find this in the Anguttara Nikaya also, but at the same time, we find this in the Mahaparinibbana Sutta, this Tuparaha. So it seems, according to the Parinibbana Sutta, the building of 4 tupas was preached near the Buddha's Parinibbana, But to my knowledge, Anguttara Nikaya also has this Tuparaha Puggala. Maybe he has preached in Jetavana and repeated in the Mahaparinibbana Sutta. So if it was preached only in the Parinibbana, by this time, Buddha has not preached that. But if he has preached it in somewhere else also, or it was like common knowledge among the monks, then it will be okay. Otherwise, someone can ask the counter question, because this Tuparaha teaching is found in the Mahaparinibbana Sutta, close to the Buddha's death. Then building the stupa done by the monks. So normally monks can build something. Only thing is we cannot dig the earth. We cannot cut the trees. So other than cutting the trees and digging the earth, if someone wants to keep the bricks or to apply clay on the wall and to build after the digging has been done by the lay people, it is allowable for us to do the constructions. Monks are allowable, and monks can do the construction by themselves without digging the earth and cutting the trees. And the next thing is they can instruct the construction. If you look into the Vinaya Pitaka and also the Sutta commentary, you find the Migara Pas, we call it what is called the Pubarama. Pubarama built by Migaramata, Visakha, built by the Visakha Migaramata, the Pubarama. When she wanted to build the stupa, build the monastery for the Buddha and the monks, the duty was allocated to Mahamoggallana. Mahamoggallana instructed the construction. So monks can build according to the Vinaya without digging the earth and cutting the trees, and monks are surely allowed to instructing, supervising the construction. So that there's a Vinaya Kama also. We can give the construction supervision for few years even. We can give a certain grant for him. So he will get certain privileges in the distribution of parikara when you are given such a title to supervise the construction. So it is allowable. It is allowable. As to extend your question for a further dimension, but what happened was when the Buddha was passing away, Venerable Ananda asked, how should we treat to your body? What would be how should we respect it? How should we treat it? Then at that time, the Buddha's direct answer was, you don't need to bother about it. It will be taken care by the lay people. That was his instruction. So this shows that even according to the Vinaya, it is allowed to build stupas and so forth. For the Sangika construction, like constructing a Sangika monastery, that is a monk's responsibility, supervising. Buddha himself has given a Vinaya Kama to appoint a supervisor. So it is something that monks have to do. That is their duty. But things like building a stupa, building these things, it seems like when the Venerable Ananda asked, how should we treat your body? The Buddha said, you don't want to worry about it. You just focus on your own work. That is a work to be done by the lay people. So then he asked, how should the lay people treat your body? Then he mentioned, according to the, as you treat your body of a Chakravarti. Then he asked, how do we treat the body of a Chakravarti? Then he explained the procedure of treating. So there's another point to be emphasized. So even though there is no problem in Vinaya, and Buddha has instructed to build this stupa for the monks, for this Bahijaruchirya, but for his own body, he gave a different type of instruction. He kept the monks away from these in such ceremonial things, and he asked that lay people can do it for themselves, by themselves. So, but for according to the commentaries, for the Sariputta and Moggallana also, after they have passed away, Buddha has, I think it's found in the Sutta or commentary, I'm not sure about that. He asked the monks to build a stupa like this.
Okay. Thank you so much, Bhante, for your very detailed and wonderful explanation. Thank you so much.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. It was my pleasure. So it's 9:40 already. So I was planning to finish the sutta. What do you think, Sally?
Bhante, it
It's
depends
getting
you.
extended. I don't know whether I would like to finish it because otherwise this sutta has been extended for few weeks now, right?
Okay. You can.
Okay, then so I'll take 10 minutes and I'll try to explain it. So if you go to this yatta apocha patavi tejo vayo nagadati natatta sukha jotanti adiccho na pakasati natatta chandima bhati tamo tatta na vijjati yadacha attana vedi munimone na brahmanu atrupa arupacha sukha dukkha pamucchati. So this is the verse. So if you go to the lecture notes, I think I have, not lecture notes, the vocabulary. I think I have already shared it with you. In the vocabulary, we find sorry. So in the hold on. I should mama Yeah. I hope everyone can see the handout. So this gatha should be arranged. Yatta apocha patavi. So this gatha has to be arranged in order. Yatta apocha patavicha tejo vayo nagadati. I think I'll explain this in the next week in detail. I'll just give a brief look into this. I'll re-explain this gatha because it will take more time, I feel. Yatta means where. Apo is normally water. Patavi is earth. Tejo is fire. And Vayo is the wind. According to Abhidhamma, we go it Apo as the bonding nature. Patavi is the hardness. Tejo is the heat. Vayo is the pushing nature. Nagadati doesn't stand. So you can see here, even though these singular words are connected with cha, we find it in the singular verb, not the plural verb. Instead of saying gadanti, the Buddha has used the gadati, where the apo, patavi, tejo, vayo doesn't stand. Tatta, in that place, where patavi, apo, tejo, vayo doesn't exist, tatta, there are sukha na jotati. Sukha na jotanti, sorry. Jotanti. Jotanti means shine. Sukha here means to the white color stars. Stars are white color normally. Sukha na jotanti. Tattha, they are adityo na pakasati. Na pakasati means na pakasati. The P has become double because it's prakasati in Sanskrit. Adityo also, aditya means the sun doesn't shine. Doesn't shine. Literally doesn't shine. Tattha, they are chandimana bhati. The moon also doesn't shine. So it says where there is no four great elements, the stars doesn't shine, the sun doesn't shine, the moon doesn't shine. If it means there is no light. So there can be an argument: is there dark now in the Lokantarika hell? According to the literature, there is no light. It is utter darkness, complete darkness there. So if there is no sun, no moon, no stars, lights, so is it just the darkness? He is explaining about the Nibbana here. That's the first thing you have to know. He's explaining about the Nibbana. So the Nibbana is a dark place. So then Buddha says, Tatta tamona vijjati. Even there is no darkness. Because this is nothing to be related with material thing. Darkness, light, all are related to matter. So this is just a state. It's not a state that exists in the space. So tamo na vijjati. The darkness doesn't exist. So there's no light, no darkness. Yada brahmano muni monena attana vedi. Vedi means vedati. Vedati means to understand. It comes from the root vid. Vidati, vedati. Vidati, vedati. Right? So understands. So yada brahmano muni. Yada is when. You can see all these words are taken from the Gatha. Brahmana is a real Brahmin who is an Arahant who has removed the kilesas. Muni is also sage. So we call a certain person a Muni because he has the path knowledges which discern the Four Noble Truths, which measures the discern and measures the Four Noble Truths. So according to the Vedic tradition, one becomes a sage because he keeps silence. Moneya Muni. One who is silent becomes a Muni. But according to the Buddha, if you go to Dhammapada, I'll explain this in detail in the next class. One who is a real Muni is the one who Munati Ubolo. Munati. Munati, philologically, this is a word that some philologists have explained, very, very strange word in Pāļi. They consider the Buddha invented or the tradition invented this word. So Buddha was constructing new words. So munati means measuring. Measuring means discerning deeply. Like when you measure when you discern the internal the reality, these are internal, these are external, these are kusala, these are akusala. Like the one is able to differentiate, distinguish the word, distinguish the things, the reality, the idea. So one who has that knowledge is called a Muni. According to the Vedic, one who keeps silence is a Muni. According to the Buddha's teachings, one who, according to Indian tradition, one who keeps silence is a Muni. According to the Buddha's teaching, one who has this understanding about this world, the next world, about the Nibbana, Kusala, Akusala, is called a Muni. So Monena. So here Monena means with the four noble paths. Attana Vedi. Attana here acts as an adverb by himself. Vedi, knows. So Yada, when the Brahmano Muni, the Brahmin Muni, Mona here refers to the four noble paths. So with the noble paths, Attana by himself, not with the help of others. Vedi, knows. What does he know? The object is not mentioned here. Object is Nibbana. So it is what has been explained in these first two lines. The place where no four great elements, no stars, no sun, no moon, no darkness, that is Nibbana. So when a person knows, when a Brahmin Muni with his wisdom by himself knows this Nibbana. So if you go to the commentary, we find this explanation. I'll explain it with the commentary next week. So how to fill the gaps. So we will understand the Nibbana. Then after realizing, so we have to add the person. So means the Brahmano Muni, that sage, that Brahmin sage. Brahmin means who has removed the kilesas. Rupacha, Arupacha, Sukha Dukkhacha, Pamuchati. Pamuchati is released. Muchati is released. Pamuchati is completely released. Pamuchati is fully really liberated. From what? From Rupa, Arupa, and Sukha Dukkha. So here Rupa, Arupa, and Sukha Dukkha doesn't mean the matter, Chitta, and Vedana. Normally Rupa is matter, Arupa is mentalities, Sukha Dukkha is Vedana, right? So it covers the aggregate of Rupa, Chitta, Vedana, and Arupa can refer to Chitta, Sankara, and Sanya. But it's not like that. Normally someone can think in that manner. But when you get released, that we are released from, mainly from the rebirth, what is going to happen, otherwise would have happened, and also from all the aggregates. The commentary says here Rupa refers to the Rupa Bhava, the life in the 16 Rupa realms. Arupa refers to the Arupa Bhava, the life in the 4 Arupa realms. Sukha Dukkha refers to the Kama realm, because in the Kama realm we have Sukha and Dukkha both. And also it can refer to the Patisandhi in another alternative explanation. So Sukha Dukkha here refers to the Kama and Kama Bhava, because both Sukha and Dukkha, because Kama Bhava has 7 Kama abodes, Sugati abodes, and 4 apayas. So in the Kama realm, we have both Sukha and Dukkha. Rupa Arupa is always Sugati. There is no suffering in there. Only we have the suffering of dying, suffering of birth, suffering of aging, getting close to the death. It's not the aging of a human. They don't feel like hurt or pain, body pain like human ages. And also just the existence of Nama and Rupa itself is a suffering in there. That is Sankhara Dukkha. But here it says Atta. But in the Kama realm, we have all these observable pleasures and suffering. So that's why Sukha Dukkha here refers to the Kama realm. So when someone understands the Nibbana by himself with the help of the 4 noble paths, after that realization, it means immediately after the realization, he is freed Pamuchati from the Rupa realm, Arupa realm, and the Kama realm. So that is the meaning of this Gatha. I'll go into more detail scrutinization next week and try to explain with the commentary, which you can see here, with the commentary, how to understand a Gatha. And after that, for a few weeks, I'll be continuing with the Gathas that we have skipped. All the Gathas we skipped in all the suttas that we have so far studied. I'll be discussing them, maybe 1 or 2 Gathas per week for a lecture. So
Thank you,
if you have
Bhante.
okay. Any short questions?
So Bhante, when you mentioned that Sutta, you said the 6 ideas, 6 preachings by the monks. What is the Sutta's name? I forgot. I think I read it.
Majje Sutta. Majje Sutta.
Majjaya Sutta.
I'll type here. I hope you can see it. Majje Sutta. Mostly it comes as a one word, right? Majje Sutta.
Okay, thank you, Bhante.
Okay. I think it's in Anguttara Nikaya. Okay. So any questions? Okay, shall we call it a day then? So thank you for listening. So Sunday we have the Q&A session. So Sister Uttama, please write that. I think some questions during the class we moved to the Q&A session. Please write them in the Q&A list. So according to the order, we'll try to explain them. So thank you very much for listening and wish you all the best.
Thank you very much, Bhante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you very much.
Sadhu.